Hey YouTube, my name is Tover. Um, Today I'm going to be talking about another deck that I've made, and yes, I've just finished it today. I'm sorry if I sound a little sleepy, but I kinda am. I didn't get much sleep last night, so if I slur on my talking, you'll know why. Alright, so let's get started. Um, I'm going to be talking about my Pokemon right now, starting from the left. I have one Gengar, but no Gasland Haunter, and I'll explain that later. I have a Mew, Uxie, Zangoose, Giratina level X, regular Giratina, two Slowpoke that helps evolve into a Slowking. I'll explain what they do later. A Mr. Mime for defense, Absol Prime, one Absol Prime, two Riolu, which helps evolve into my two main attackers, Lucario, a Diglett that helps evolve into Dugtrio. I'll explain what he does later. That is if y'all don't already know. Sableye help with the option of sending them to the Lost Zone for Relicanth or Mew, whatever. And Relicanth. Now, I'm going to explain the strategy of the deck. As you can see, there is no line for Gastly Haunter and Gengar, because it's just one Gengar, and the reason being is because let me get in closer. Okay, so Mew helps send Gengar into the Lost Zone with its attack called See Off. Mew searches a Pokemon out of the user's deck and sends it to the Lost Zone with a Psychic Energy. Mew also has a Pokebody called Lost Link, which lets you use an attack from a Pokemon that's in the Lost Zone. Gengar has an attack called Hurl into Darkness, which sends a Pokemon from the Lost Zone. Sends a Pokemon from your opponent's hand to the Lost Zone due to the number of Psychic Energies attached to Gengar. Attaching one to Mew on the first turn, sending Gengar to the Lost Zone, and attach another to Mew, using its Hurl into Darkness to get two Pokemon out of your opponent's hand and send it to the Lost Zone on the second turn. That is probably what you call a premature knockout to any stage 2 or SP level X Pokemon that your opponent may have in his hand, but it's worth it. Zangoose helps with a hand destruction with his Lost Claw attack, which does 30. Swords Dance helps it boost it up by 30, which does 60. And I choose one card out of my opponent's hand without looking and send it to the Lost Zone. Uxie helps me with a hand of refreshment, draw till I have 7 cards in my hand, whatever. Giratina this Giratina is kinda important for the Giratina level X. Its first attack is called Strafe, which helps me do a free switch whenever I use the attack. It does the damage first, so it's 20, and then I have the option to switch from Giratina to another Pokemon. Giratina level X has an ability called Invisible Tentacles, and whenever your opponent attacks, your opponent may discard a card from his hand. Has to discard a card from his hand. If you don't, if he or she doesn't, the attack does not go through. And his attack is called Darkness Lost, which helps with the Lost Zone effects of this deck. Each Pokemon on my opponent's side of the field will take 30 damage, and anyone that's been knocked out goes straight to the Lost Zone, with all cards attached to it. Slowking helps with the deck destruction. Rearranges the top 3 cards of either player's decks. Mr. Mime has the Airy Wall, you already know what that does. Absol has the ability called IF Disaster, which does 2 damage. Which puts 2 damage counters on my opponent's Pokemon whenever they're benched. and Vicious Claw does 70, and it helps with the Lost Zone ability for my Lucario. So it actually helps for the main attacker. Chooses a Pokemon from my hand, and puts it to the Lost Zone, and then attack has been used. Lucario are the main attackers, and its first attack is called Dimension Spear. It does 30 damage normally, plus 20 more damage for each Pokemon I have in the Lost Zone. Dugtrio has the Sinkhole ability, which if my opponent retreats, he'll take the Pokemon retreating. That's my cell phone, sorry. The retreated Pokemon takes 20 damage, or 2 damage counters, excuse me. The Sableye helps with the loop of this game, and I'll explain that later. And Relicanth helps whether if Gengar is in my hand. Depending on who I'm going to lead out with, I'm going to either lead out with Mew or Relicanth. And wherever Gengar goes is where, you know. Alright, so explaining my excuse me if you saw any legs. I do have short horns, so shut up. Supporters. Oops, let me fix this back. Alright, supporters, I have 2 baby searches, 1 interviewer's questions for the energies, 1 judge for hand refreshment / hand disruption, Cyrus Initiative, another supporter for hand disruption, Team Rocket's Trickery, another one for hand disruption, the Pokemon collectors for searching out important basic Pokemon, Professor Elm's training methods, which helps me search out the important evolution cards such as Lucario or Gengar, and 3 Pokemon communications, which actually helps me search out Pokemon in the cost of putting an unimportant Pokemon from my hand on top of the deck, and Luxury Ball just to search out a Pokemon from my deck. But I can only put in 1 Luxury Ball. Now to explain the energies, I have 4 basic fighting energy. Yes, I did include the fighting energies because all Lucario aren't perfect, and so I needed Sky Uppercut attack for resistance blocking damage. I have 11 psychic energies, running past real quick. 3 basic darkness energies, 3 special darkness energies, and 1 call energy for benching 2 basic Pokemon on my side of the field. And there it is. I guess I'm gonna call this deck the Lost Mewcario. Not Lucario, but Mewcario. Because Mew is really important. Lucario is as well. Relicanth is important, but not as important as Mew. Because Mew does anything Relicanth can't. So, and that's pretty much it. Any advice about this deck? Maybe I added a little too many cards or less. Whatever advice that you have for me, comment, rate, subscribe. You already know what to do. And send me your wishes for this deck. If you think this deck may win me a lot of duels or maybe no duels at all, you let me know. And I may change the deck depending on your advice. But in the long run, I am my own person, so depending on the advice you give me, I may take it or I may ignore it. But it's not a waste of time. It is a try, so thanks for checking out this video. And if you happen to stumble upon this video, please do not comment saying that I'm a nerd, because I've been thinking that somebody else comments on my video and I'm thinking that's somebody else who I don't know but that's actually interested in this deck. But once again, thanks for checking out my video, and remember, give me some advice that you may have. You're happy to share it in my comment box. So alrighty then, peace.